My expectation to the Kenyan delegates, my expectation the coming annual delegates conference is for me to be endorsed as Secretary General of the Kenyan National Union of Teachers. With a lot of humility, that is what I'm begging the delegates who will come on that time. But as I said at one time, democracy has its own challenges. A brother and a brother may contest. You may be aware in the previous elections, some brothers contested against each other in the different positions. And because democracy has its own challenges, and the Kenya National Union of Teachers is a dynamic organization, should my brother, the national chairman, decide to contest the post of Secretary General, annual delegates conference, the delegates shall sort us out. The activity of voting by secret ballot at that time and during that time will end up giving the Kenyan teachers Secretary General. As to the threat that my brother vacated his seat as he carried on the dailies, I'm yet to get his letter of resignation. Definitely, even those people who lost elections in the previous elections, and customarily that is how people with their ambitions tend to push, to allege that they are under pressure from people. He maybe is under pressure from teachers, but those teachers have not, you know, when you are under pressure, like if they want something here, they will write to say, we want A, B, C, D. But election is by delegates. Those delegates are teachers. Yeah? If we also say, I am under pressure from teachers, the best people to decide how many are pushing who is the ballot. And so we cannot just allege that I am under pressure from the teachers who are invisible. Those are crafted allegations to suit a certain situation. But this is a situation which was obtaining for the first time in the history of Kenya National Union of Teachers, and the delegates, as usual, shall have a say and determine who becomes the Secretary General. Okay. And the National Executive Council gave me in acting capacity the position of Secretary General. I can only be given 48 hours or 2 minutes by the National Executive Council, not an individual or any other person. There is no other force in the management of the Kenya National Union Affairs. There is no other force, no supreme force, other than the National Executive Council, in the absence of the annual delegates conference, that can compel an individual, that can give an ultimatum to an individual. That is the force that even gives ultimatum to the country, to the government, as far as strikes are concerned. So the positions here, our positions are structured, and our authority is regulated, regulated by the Constitution, which recognizes the National Executive Council as the supreme authority with the power to direct and dictate the issues of this organization, not an individual. So I cannot be directed by an individual who is not a force. The force to reckon with is the National Executive Council, whose directions I will oblige. My message is that at this time, I will continue being issue-oriented. This is the time, the only time for us to move and move with the speed so that issues related to the teachers' terms and conditions of service are addressed. This is the time for us to address the suspension of promotions of the teachers by the Teacher Service Commission, who say they will not recognize the degrees and some other promotional advantages the teachers have got. This is the time for us to ask the employer to speed up our consultative process so that the CBA that is supposed to be concluded and registered with the industrial court is concluded. This is the time for us to see whether the threats by the Teacher Service Commission to reduce or rather recover salaries from the 10,000 teachers they claim to have promoted from P1 to some place should be addressed. This is the time for us to know how the laptop project will be implemented effectively without proper and accurate and tendering system. We are in a challenging situation where the Teacher Service Commission has not been properly constituted as far as the commissioners are concerned. Those ought to form our very serious items of agenda so that upon conclusion of the constitution of the commissioners, the Teacher Service Commission can smoothly implement its mandate and roles as a constitutional commission.